Welcome to another episode of Home Sweet Home. My name is Rod McCall.
And I'm Scott Nichols.
Man, how the heck is life treating you on this fantastic day?
I mean, it's always good.
Yeah?
Always.
Is it tough
I'm
being you?
Very positive person, so it's always good.
Oh, yeah. I try to be positive. I mean, there's days where it's kind of more challenging than others, but
Absolutely.
I like to be more of a glass half full than a glass half empty kind of individual. So,
I mean, I'm not saying life's easy. I'm just saying I'm alive. I'm breathing. It's still good.
well, I was reading a thing that was saying that maybe we ought, when you wake up in the morning, you ought to give thanks that you woke up.
Sure. I think so. I can see that.
I mean, though you keep telling me that some of my aches and pains might be due to a bad mattress and I ought to get a new one.
Well, just get a new one.
Yeah. Well, that's on the list. There just seems to be have you ever noticed that the list of things that you need to get grows faster than the money coming in to do all that?
It really does.
I mean,
But that's okay.
I mean, you keep joking about winning the lottery. I'm right there with you. Be nice to win the lottery.
I mean, I'm going to try.
I need to start playing, I guess, but the last, every time I've tried though, lately, it's kind of like, well, somebody else gets my money and I get wishful thinkings.
It's true.
So,
But there's always that chance.
that is true. And well, you can't win if you don't play, or
It's true.
what do they say? You're going to miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
That's true, too.
So,
Wow. We are full of
idioms.
sayings today.
That is true. I've been told for a long time that I have a lot of Rod-isms.
I don't know what those are, but
Well, just sayings that are out there that, I guess I've picked up over the year. And none of them are original. I've always, heard them from others, inherited,
right.
always, well, my granddaddy would say, and maybe they were, maybe they weren't, but they're, again, fun little sayings.
Absolutely.
So anyway,
So what are we doing today?
well, we've been talking about a lot of, well, how about this? I've been visiting with some of the kids, and we've been talking about how life doesn't always give you a fair shake, and that, I'm dealing with a lot of kids that are struggling with a ton of issues. We've been exploring some of the consequences. What's the deal? What's going on of causing some of these?
Sure.
And so I ran across. I am not. I have an Instagram account for my book,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm not on Instagram hardly at all. But every now and then it overloads me with messages, so I go in to clean them.
Sure.
And so I just delete stuff. And anyway, I ran across something that caught my eye, and I'm going, oh my gosh. And so I basically just recopied it over. And I thought that might be something we could do an episode on.
Okay.
And if there's one thing I've learned is that, well, life's going to kick you square in the gut or other places further south.
Right.
And when it does, it's not the end of the world.
No, it's not.
When you're young, it's kind of hard to feel that, it's going to get better, even as an adult. I mean, I can remember going through the divorce, and all of us, 12 years I was part of the divorce recovery group here in Dallas, and you get people, and we were all feeling the same way. And it was interesting that, some of the same emotions just kept coming in. Every week we get new people, and every week they would be saying a lot of the same stuff. This sucks, my life will never get better.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I saw this post from that appeared on my Instagram, it said, it was basically, life sucks, but it's only temporary.
Yeah.
And so they had some things for us to, or things that they suggested to consider, things to remember that, you know, when life sucks, when life kicks you square in the gut, punches you square in the nose, or, you know, whatever life does to remind you that you are not in charge, that if you can kind of recall and remember these items, that, well, it might make it easier to make it through.
Sure.
So I thought, well, since everybody experiences times of life where it is exceptionally struggling and it's hard to see that that is only temporary, maybe we could kind of explore some of these.
Sure.
So here's the first one. Everything can and will change.
Okay.
In fact, the only constant in life is change.
That's true.
And I will say I hate change, even when it's my idea. Okay. I get nervous. I get anxious. I worry about change. I mean, I'm going to go out and be a professional counselor here, hopefully in the near future.
Yeah.
And I'm excited about it, but I'm a little nervous. I'm a little anxious about giving up teaching. I mean, I've been doing it for, I got my first teaching gig back in 1991. And I've been involved in education.
It's a long time.
Ever since. Yeah.
You're an old dude.
Young at heart. But yeah, there's days I feel older.
So I think that, like, so as I'm thinking about this, everything can and will change. Yes. Right. But it could be positive or negative.
Well,
it could go either direction.
Yeah, good times.
So, like, do we have any say in how it changes?
I think we can. You're right. Good times will never always be 100% good times, but the bad times will never always be 100% bad times.
Right.
I mean, I look at my divorce and I go, man, that just sucked. It turned my world upside down and inside out.
Yes.
It altered the direction I thought my life was going to go.
Mm-hmm.
And it created a lot of negatives.
Yeah.
But I look at it now, and the worst thing to happen to me was losing Eric.
Right.
And there's no sugarcoating that. But there were so many positives that have come out of that divorce that negative
mm-hmm.
altered and became a whole bunch of new positives.
Sure.
And so change can be, you know, a potentially good thing.
I think my point, where I'm kind of getting here is,
okay,
you had that happen to you. You know, obviously you played a part in having the divorce happen.
Oh yeah.
Because you there was issue, but still divorce. Nobody's ever like, I don't think anyway. I can't wait to get divorced, and it's going to be such a great day. And I mean, I know there's like movies where people talk about that, but I don't think that those days are the greatest. Nobody wants to nobody's like looking to, okay, I just got married. I can't wait to get divorced.
Yeah.
Right. So it's not necessarily a good day. But you didn't my point is, I guess you didn't suddenly break bad and, you know, start selling meth or something, right? Like in the Breaking Bad show, you had something negative happen to you, and you took a step to try to find that positive in it, to try to overcome that challenge.
Yeah. And I think that's kind of the point with this suggestion, that whenever a door closes, another door does actually open up.
Right.
The question is, will you go inside?
Well, I think there's two doors.
Okay.
Which one are you going to choose? Because there's one that might lead you to positive changes, and then there's one that might lead you to down a road of negative.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Okay.
You can dwell on it. You can bury yourself in it. Like a lot of people who are, you know, addicted to drugs, there's a depression that comes, and then you sink down into that, right?
Okay.
And or you have the option to go another way, and you went the way of a support group.
Okay, yeah.
right? Which helped you.
True.
Had you not done the support group,
Yeah.
you
Who
might
knows?
have headed the other way.
Yeah. Valid point.
I mean, there's always in everything that happens with us, there's always like two things we could do. We could be two directions we could go.
True.
And maybe there's three. I don't know.
Well,
But
it could be. I don't know.
there's at least two.
Sure. Well, and that ties right in then with the second suggestion that was offered is that when you're faced with a challenge, this isn't usually going to be the first challenge you've ever come across.
Sure.
You've faced challenges before. You've overcome challenges before.
Mm-hmm.
And whatever obstacle is in front of you, you're going to overcome that too.
Right.
It's not the end of the world,
Mm-hmm.
even when it feels like it's the end of the world.
Right.
And that I guess part of my upbringing has always been that whatever it is, it's not that bad.
Right.
I mean, no matter what it could be, there's a way around it.
Right.
They can't go over it. The bear hunt. We're going on a bear hunt.
Okay.
Can't go over it. Can't go under it. Hey, let's go around
That's
it.
awesome. Join us for our children's story podcast. Right.
But it's dealing, like you said.
I think there's always somebody in your life who's overcome something more than you. And you're an example of that for me. Is that I can't even imagine losing a child. I mean, but to lose a child in the way that you lost Eric, I don't know if I would be a sane person ever again. And to see that you've come out of that, I don't want to say overcome it, but come out of it in a way that has brought positivity to your life is, I don't know if I could have done that.
Well,
and I'm sure that if I was put in that situation, I probably could, but the fact that you did it says that people can do it.
Well, thank you for those words of affirmation and kind things, because I don't know that I would have thought I could overcome it either.
I imagine you would never have thought that.
No, I don't know that you know what you can overcome, how you will overcome these challenges until you're faced with them.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I guess you always have the option of quitting.
Yeah.
For me, quitting was never an option.
Mm-hmm.
Even through the divorce, Eric's mother wanted me to quit and give up.
Yeah.
And it was a challenge, but I couldn't give up. I'm a hard-headed son of a buck. And you've seen me, you know me. We're good pals. I can dig my feet in and make a molehill become a major mountain range.
Mm-hmm.
But life's filled with challenges, and that you can either fold them and call it a day and quit.
Yeah.
Or you can face that challenge and you can and will overcome it.
Yeah.
It's a matter of, do you want to?
Yeah.
And that kind of brings us to number 3.
Yeah.
No matter what that change is, no matter what your challenge is, it is a learning experience.
Yes. I think everything in life is that way, right?
Oh, bar none.
1,000 times a day, you're learning something. You're making choices. You're doing things. In fact, they said that teachers make even more choices and have to deal with more things every day than the average person. So I guess we learn tons more.
I guess
in any given day than others. But yeah, I mean, you learn from whatever experiences happen. I mean, I've had bad things happen in my life, negative things pop up. You make some choices and you learn and you grow and you move beyond it.
Well, and I think that it is this choice, as you choose to face head on our struggles, our challenges, our obstacles in life.
Yeah.
It allows us to learn. And you can, whether you face it or not face it, you're still going to learn.
Yeah.
It's a matter of what you learn.
Yeah.
And I will say that in all the challenges that came my way, from being shy, from being a uncoordinated, tall, goofy, geeky kid, to being able to speak to large crowds of strangers,
Yeah.
I learned. I learned to overcome obstacles, and in that, facing those challenges, I learned how to handle difficult situations when they came again.
Yeah.
And I think that that's kind of their point here, is that if you face the challenge head on and you overcome that challenge, and again, it's not like it's like mountain climbing. I don't think you're going to try and climb, the tallest mountains in the world. You're going to start something small. And you face your small challenges. And as a kid, I think you face a variety of challenges.
Yeah.
And as you face them and you overcome them, you learn. I think that's kind of that resiliency that I see in a lot of my students.
Yeah. I think this is where oftentimes we protect our kids too much.
I would agree.
And so that they don't learn, right?
Mm-hmm.
We had this just yesterday with my wife, and our grandson was running around the house, and she was like, "I need you to stop that because I'm afraid you're going to hurt yourself." And I just turned and I was like, "But if he hurts himself doing that, he's only going to do it once, and then he's never gonna he's going to learn from that, and he's not going to do it again." And she was like, "Yeah, I get that, but I don't want him to hurt himself." So, but that was a sensible thing for her. We probably shouldn't be running in the house to begin with, but oftentimes we protect our kids too much, and we hover over them, and we follow them, and we keep them from making mistakes that they would learn from, that are mistakes that we did. That we learned from. And so we're protecting them from, and that learning isn't taking place. And so they're likely to make that mistake in the future because they didn't learn. And it might be a bigger mistake at that point.
I completely agree. And that's where, as an educator, as we have shifted a lot of focus on different things, I have challenged that. Is that actually the best choice?
Right.
I mean, it's a short-term gain for a long-term loss.
Yeah.
Let kids fail. Let them have, experiences that are a little bit negative. Because you know what? If they happen here at school, you fail a test because you didn't study.
Yeah.
Well, that's fine. But you learned a very valuable lesson.
Mm-hmm.
And if we allow you to learn that lesson now, early at school, and then you face another challenge a little bit later in school as you get older, and you're going, I did last time. I totally didn't do, anything to prepare for this examination.
Right.
And I failed. I don't want to fail again. So maybe I'm going to rearrange my priorities just enough that I can study more. And maybe this time I will pass.
Sure.
May not get an A, but
I do think it can be complex. I don't want to oversimplify it.
Well, true.
I do think that there's students who failed the test because they go home at night and it's an abusive household and there's no way to study. But one of the things that I do, right, is I have kids reflect on, why didn't I do well on that question?
Yeah.
Why didn't I do well here? And they do that kind of metacognition to think about, what were they thinking and why did it go that way? And sometimes the answer is, I didn't get any sleep.
Mm-hmm.
And so then the question is, why didn't you get sleep? Like, was it because you were scrolling on social media all night?
Mm-hmm.
Or was it because, there's something else going on in your life? You got to get to the root of those issues, but to really understand where things are. But I mean, like kids, if if they're not allowed to do things that might cause them to experience some kind of negative event, how are they going to learn from it?
Well, and again, that's that learning experience.
And we need to start with the simple ones, right? Like you fall off your bike. Okay, so now learn how to ride your bike.
Let's get up, dust yourself off.
Do
it's
it
not
again,
the end of the
right?
world.
Keep going.
You skinned your
those
knee.
those are things that, I mean, that's how we learn to cope and figure out, oh, so, you know, if I've learned how to continue when things went bad that were small as a child, then the bigger the problems get, the more likely it is that I can be like, you know what, I can overcome this too.
And I think that's kind of the suggestions here. And that brings us then to the next one. And I don't know that I appreciated this until I got a whole lot older.
Right.
And that is, not getting what you want might actually be a good thing.
Yeah.
I mean, I wanted my relationship with Eric's mother to get better, to improve, for us to work together to avoid the divorce. I didn't want the divorce. I will admit straightforward that I did a variety of things that probably definitely were not the right way to handle things. And I acted out of anger, frustration, but I always felt that we can still overcome. I didn't want the divorce.
Right.
But looking back now, knowing a lot more about mental health issues, in particular her mental health issues, we were never going to get better. And we were never going to overcome those obstacles that were creating the conflict and stress and distress in our relationship. So the divorce turned out to actually be a way better thing.
Right.
When I got fired from one school district, I thought that was the end of the world, but that turned out to be a blessing in disguise, because I wound up where I'm at now, and I've been here for 13 years. I've never worked at a place for 13 years.
Yeah.
And in education, that's not common. I mean, you look around our department, we've got teachers been teaching a while, but how many have stayed at a school for 10 plus years?
Right.
And
Not
so,
me.
yeah, exactly. And so the fact that a negative happened, it was a blessing. Getting fired from a job. Well, I didn't like the job, but by being forced out the door, actually was a benefit. It opened up another opportunity, put me on to go look for a job that, I actually liked better. And it, not just in teaching, but in other places too. So not getting what you want can actually maybe be a good thing.
Absolutely.
So I don't know. I mean, same way with kids telling them no. I mean, crying out loud. I see this with my sister-in-law when she goes shopping with, her kids, and they want a toy. They want this. They go shopping at the Walmart. And the youngest one always comes home, or not always, a large percentage of the time gets some kind of toy, sees a toy, gets it.
Right.
Well, okay. He plays with it for a week and then boom, it's gone. Or it's, that's it.
What a waste of money. Huh?
Well, part of me would be of the mind of, if you told him no, well, maybe no a little more often, he might learn to stop asking, begging, and pleading and focus on something more specific, more
special.
Yeah, that's the word I was looking for, special. I don't know. Again, it's always easy to second guess what people do, but I know my mom and dad said no to me on a lot of things. And I was angry and frustrated at the time, but maybe it was a good thing.
So we're halfway there.
We are. And here's something that I think as a kid you can do. I think as an adult it gets harder, but it's okay to go out and have fun.
Oh, I think as an adult I can have a lot of fun.
Oh, I can. It can get expensive.
I think it can cause me a lot of trouble. But I think I can have a lot of fun.
I don't know what kind of fun you want to have that gets expensive.
I'm not going to talk about it.
But you're right. I don't know. I think sometimes that it is so easy to get wrapped up in life.
Yes.
With work, with home, with work, that we forget to take time to have fun.
I agree.
And so I do like to have fun. I know that it's harder for Sherry and I right now, with our, life situation, and her mom not being in the best of health. We can't really leave her alone very often, very long. I mean, crying out loud, leaving her alone for an hour is a bit of a challenge.
Right.
So, but we try to do things. To go to a movie or maybe go out to dinner.
Or Hawaii.
Okay, yeah, we went to Hawaii. By the way, did you see the shirt I'm wearing? Did you see the shirt I'm wearing today?
I did not.
It's one of my Hawaii shirts.
I see that.
Anyway, no, but these are the things that you've got to do. Go out, have fun. There's lots of great things to celebrate the good things in life.
Now, I think that is easier as you get older, right? Like, I mean, I'm doing a weekend. We're doing a weekend in California, going to a concert, going to hit Disneyland, and, it's a long weekend.
Look at you, Daddy Warbucks.
And so, yeah, I mean, you say that, but it's I have lots of discounts. It's not that expensive.
No, I know. I'm giving you a hard time.
But, there's ways to figure out to do that cheaply. But yeah, that's the comment I get from a lot of coworkers, right? Wish I had your money. I'm like, well, you don't, because I don't really have any money. So if you want my debt, you can have it. But you got to have some fun. So choosing one or two things a year that might be kind of larger to do, a weekend away, or even a 1 week vacation somewhere. I mean, get some fun in there.
It can't be all work all the time.
Yeah, and you can't.
And so, yeah, again, things to remember when life gets tough. Well, go on vacation.
Yeah. I like the next one.
Okay. Share with us the next one.
Be kind to yourself. That's the best form of self-medication.
Self-care.
So, like, do something for yourself. Be kind to yourself. Do something good. Is that what we're talking about here?
I think so.
What would you see as self-medication for you that's not actual medication?
Shinerbach. No. Alcohol isn't always the best form of medication, but okay. Doing something that getting a haircut would be self-care. Taking some time just for you.
Yeah.
What was it? Those commercials where mom's wrapped up in a candy wrapper. What's the candy? I can't think of the candy, but mom's in her special place. Or used to be when we were growing up, take a Calgon bath and slip away.
Right. So lately, my thing is to go to the gym or take a long walk.
Yeah.
Or to read a book.
Sure.
I'm up to 23 so far this year, and we're in September, October time frame here. So that's a lot of books for me.
Yeah.
I know it's not a lot for other people because I do the Goodreads thing.
Oh, yeah.
I can see their challenges. And so they're like, I'm going to read 40 books and they're on like book number 102.
Oh my gosh.
And I don't know how you do that, but I'm working on it. But I have come to really enjoy reading books over watching television. And I feel like that's a lot of self-care for me, a lot of self-medication.
And I think that's, to each individual, there, whatever is time for you to decompress, to get away from the rat race. Sometimes for me, it actually is, I just want to veg, and sometimes just a mindless television show can allow my mind to
There's that too.
Because again, different things for different folks. I love to read. Reading is a fun escape for me.
Yeah.
But whatever it might be, but take a little bit of time. I mean, it doesn't have to be a whole lot. I know my dad used to get up early in the morning and before the rest of the house would get going, and he would read.
Yeah.
And it'd be just 20, 30 minutes, but it would be his time.
Yeah.
And so I think anything that you can do, maybe it's clothes shopping, maybe it's getting, a pedicure, a manicure, a back, some kind of back massage.
Yeah.
Something for you that helps you feel a little bit better about yourself.
Definitely important. So I know that I talk often about being a positive person. I try to practice positivity as much as possible. Mm-hmm. And I got to tell you, it really rails on me when I run into people who are negative.
Which is the next one.
And just that negativity just bugs the heck out of me. And it's not that you have that somebody has a negative episode.
Mm-hmm.
Something bad happens and they're negative about it. I get that. It's the incessant, daily in and out negativity associated with something. And that even when the person is presented with a positive side, they never see it.
Yeah. And I think that's what the next one is that other people's negativity isn't worth worrying about. That's a them problem, not a you problem.
I just feel like backing away from that every time it gets to the point where I realized there is nothing I can say or nothing that's going to change this person's mind.
I think
I'm lost on that.
Oh, I completely agree. Because
I feel like I'm not being a good human. Like I should still be pursuing those things, but if it's going to be just continuous negativity, I have a problem with that.
I think that a lot of places, especially at work, you can find that dark cloud, or I've heard them also. They're an energy vampire.
Yeah,
where they suck the positive energy out of everything.
I just feel like I don't have time for it, and I feel bad about that to some extent.
But is that an element of self-care?
I mean, maybe
that you walk away.
I mean, I don't want to be poisoned by it. But at the same time, I want to help people get away from it. Mm-hmm. And so I struggle with that.
Well, if you want to find and live in the negative side of things, you can. And I think that's the whole point of this Instagram post that we're talking about, is that life's going to suck. And life might suck a lot.
Sure.
But it doesn't have to be the end of things. And so you can focus only on the negative. Yeah. You can be around people that focus on the negative, which then means you wind up focusing only on the negative.
Sometimes you have to be, right? Like sometimes they're in your life, they're in your work, they're whatever. Like you have to work with them, and that's going to be a thing. But I think, anytime that I can get away from it, I want to.
Yes. No, and I completely agree. And so I guess that'll bring us to the last suggestion that they had.
Which is?
There is always something to be thankful for.
Yes, I agree.
I mean, going through the divorce, and I know I've been railing on that a lot today. The divorce was, I would argue, one of the worst things that I went through.
Yeah.
But one of the as I look now, and even at the time, I'm going, a positive was I met all of the people in the divorce group, and they were amazing people. And we were from every walk of life that we would have never interacted had it not been for the divorce. But they brought people into my life that are still a part of my life. And not just Sherry, who's, we got married, but so many other folks. I was thankful that I was away from her.
Yeah.
From Eric's mother, who was indeed an energy vampire that sucked the life out of everything.
Sure.
So it was a positive to get away from her. Mm-hmm. Didn't like the way we we parted ways, but it was as always there. If you look, there's always a positive to whatever happens to us.
And I mean, ultimately, like you said before, I mean, you didn't want to get divorced. So, I mean, had it gone the other way and things had, people had been healed and, there would have been, reconciliation and things would have gone well in the marriage and the parenting and all the things, that probably would have been a good outcome as well.
It would have.
But it didn't happen that way. And so you were faced with how it did happen.
Sad, but true.
So but yeah, you're right. Like there's always something to be thankful for. And I think the first thing is something we mentioned at the beginning was, you woke up today.
Yeah.
And so now you have an opportunity to go out there, face the challenges, learn from it, help other people, be a blessing, receive blessing. I mean, all the things that we've talked about here, have some fun, enjoy your life. It's the only one you get.
It really is. And I know it's an old adage, but life's going to give you a crap ton of lemons.
Yeah.
You can either cry with the lemons or try and make lemon meringue pie.
Well, that's a new one.
Well, I don't know. I just came up with that.
Lemonade is usually what you get, but it is.
No, I get you. I was trying to think of something different.
That's a new twist.
And
it's also making me hungry.
Ooh. Now that you say that, I am getting hungry.
And I think it is lunchtime.
Well, it's lunchtime somewhere. So, well, I'm glad we went over this.
Yeah.
Life sucks. But it's never permanent. There's good things out there. Short term, long term doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
It's how you want to respond.
Well, it's up to us to make it better.
At the end of the day, you can't control what happens to you. You can only control how you respond.
And with that,
we'll call it a day.
All right.
I'm Rod.
I'm Scott.
Bye.
Bye-bye.